then it goes to the shaking things, and at the end the trains were driving through with the coal and with the stones. So in this case we changed this to be the new Ruhr Museum, a regional museum for industrial heritage. And the architects who won that said, okay, I'd like to bring the people up like the coal was brought up. I want to have a stair, a rolling stairhouse that's going up where the people are brought to the top, and then they go level by level through this machine, and by going through this machine they identify the objects, the exposed qualities, etc. And it's a wonderful thing where you do not know what are you looking more, the insulated building or these exposed objects that are shown. But if you're a second time there, you then start to look on the objects and the subjects that are the main thing of the exhibition. And everything is shown about the history, not only the industrial history, so you also can see Romans, which have been at the Limes, which have been at the Rhine in our area. A visitor center supports everybody with knowledge, and I can tell you can get any book now about industrial heritage. Everything is researched, printed, published, etc., and also in several languages. We even publish books for kids to tell the stories in the background, our very young ones, and even the Motor Cars Club in Germany notices this and tells us million-wide in the federal level. This tells you the overview, two charts, these red one and the green one, and the blue one is the cokery. The cokery is a chemical fabric where coal, the coal itself, is divided from coal chemical. So that you have the pure coke, the pure Kohlenstoff. What is Kohlenstoff in Russian? CO. And not tear. What is tear? Not petrol, no tear. It's all the coal chemical things are divided. So the coal is baken in a closed oven, and by gas the chemical things are taken out. And then it is interrupted, and the pure coke is used for the steel production, because we don't need the chemical things in the steel. So the cokery was also included in the World Heritage List, and we had the question, what are we doing with a cokery? Yeah? We had no idea. We had no experience. We had no knowledge. We have never left it. All the others we destroyed and thrown away. So we made an international competition for architects, designers, and whoever has an idea, and asked, what should we do? It is nearly 1 kilometer long, and it's 300 ovens in a row. Yeah? This is one oven. Yeah? This is 8 meters high and only 1 meter wide, or less than 1 meter. And there were machines driving in front of this. Yeah? These were these machines who were necessary to fill or refill these ovens. How can we handle these things? And the winner was an architect from London, Spears and Mayer. They had never had anything to do with coal. And they told us, you want to behave with this as if it's a castle. Why don't you do so? And we said, sorry, we don't understand, we are not British, what is it? And they said, okay, it was famous in the 18th century to put a water basin in front of your castle. It was fashion, yeah? So all the earls put water basins in front of their castles. And they said, let's do it the same. Let's put a water basin in front of your castle. And we said, okay, we'll do so. So we did. This is the detail, it's very banal. It's a belt of steel running around this corridor. It's the place where the machines have been driving, yeah? And it's filled with water. And immediately when it was done, the site has changed. It's an example for very, very well thought, low tech, but brilliant solution. And it is something that you immediately see, and it is a site which attracts people. This is a Varese concert, a concert for modern music, and people are sitting there in the grass because the whole thing is a public park. It's open all the day, all the year, no fence, no entrance. You can have your romantic moment there, because if there's nothing shown, you go there for your own. You can go there for skating. We freeze this in the winter. It's the longest ice rink in the world. It's very simple. It's so narrow. We just let the water out, put the ribbon in, let it froze, and then that's it. The artists are coming immediately. They notice when a site has a potential, has an atmosphere, etc. And we followed Spears and Mayer. And Spears and Mayer said, put a warm red light to the ovens and put a cold blue light to the chemical site. And this is very impressive. And as you can see already, this is like the pyramids. Yeah? Each of these 7 chimneys is more than 100 meters high. And you see this reflection, and it's a wonderful situation. This is my best beloved picture. I love this picture most because it tells you the story that a normal man makes his own picture. You can see his kinder chair, child chair there at the side. So he's just a normal tourist. Every day, every weather condition, every day or night time, every month, you will find somebody who takes pictures. Yeah? So many pictures are taken there. I'm very glad that's digital today, so it's not so chemical relevant. Yeah? You could meet people on the main station of Essen, arriving on main station, saying, where is the bassin? I want to go to the bassin. I've seen this in TV in the US, I've seen a magazine in Paris, I've read that, in etc. So this water bassin became a destination. It is a very banal thing, but it became very famous. To go back in the sense of relevance, during the Capital of Culture we had more than 2 million people only visiting Zollverein. The year later it was reduced because it was not the Capital of Culture, but still we had nearly 1.5 million people who came and wants to see Zollverein. We do not have only a mass of people, we have very special people. For example, the Chancellor, Mr. Schröder, who was meeting with the Chancellor of Poland, a bi-national government meeting. We had the meeting of all environmental ministers of the European Union discussing climate change. They were not discussing coal policy, no, this is far away, but they were discussing climate change, and you can see one of the next candidates in the Chancellery. In those times he was environmental minister. You know that there are countries who have something beyond democracy, or royalty. Yeah? So Prince Philip had to take the helicopter when his wife, the Queen of England, was with the governor in Düsseldorf. He took the helicopter because he's interested in architecture and he wanted to see the coal mine that's going to be announced for World Heritage. You know this picture already. The mayor of the city, the best thing what he could give the Prince of Wales was the bid book for the Capital of Culture. And this was a motto, this was a poster hanged out all where it's not fiction, it's the result of steps by steps that we've reached it, and it's Ruhr. The royalties, so the special group of people, are going on to come, and in the last year we had the Queen of Holland, Queen Beatrix, and she was coming with her son. It was the last visit, and she's going to be retired shortly, and she's showing up in all the nations, the coming king. So mother is announcing the coming king, and Princess Maxima. So they had to put their signature not in the golden book, we have an iron book, because we're a steel city, so we have an iron book, and they put their standards. The director of the museum explained the Ruhr Museum, and I had a special honor because she was asking for a conference, and my job was to moderate a conference and to welcome the royalties, and especially to ask one speaker to come on the stage and to speak. And this was no wonder, becoming king, and he's an expert in the question of water. So he held a water speech on this conference about the importance of strategic questions on water in cities, not only in the Netherlands, but worldwide. Which brings me to water. Emscher, we may remember at the very beginning, is one of our rivers. Emscher Landscape Park is using the water's name, the river's name, for the park concept. That's the Emscher system. And this is already a map what has to be done. We have used these whole water system, the river in the center, as well as all little rivers, as a wastewater canal since 1904. Since 1904, the private industry, the coal mines and the steelworks and the cities agreed that it's too cost expensive to clean the water. They had an agreement. And nobody said anything different. And the reason why they said it's too cost expensive is because of the mining underneath. If you take stone out, the surface sinks. The river Emscher is a flat meandering river. So when in a flat area, if it sinks a little bit, the water doesn't flow, it stays. We had cholera, we had typhus, because the dirty water was not going away. So the engineers, the Prussian engineers, came at the beginning of the 20th century and said, you must put it underneath in tubes. You must separate people from this contaminated water. And the industry, the coal miners and cities said, no, this is too cost expensive because it will break. We go on mining forever, and this means we have to repair too often. Let's put a dike. If there is a hole, let's put a dike beside so the water goes through. The surface of this region has been sinking up to 26 meters. Yeah? The whole part of the city is 26 meters lower than it was. We will go on pumping forever. We are not going on mining forever. If we stop to pump the water out, the city will be flooded. Historically, we will spend more energy for these pumps than we have ever taken coal out. Huh? But this was not the kind of calculation we had 100 years ago. So, Emscher system is a wastewater canal system with a special law. Since 1953, it is forbidden in Germany to put untreated water in open rivers. But the only way to cross a law is to make a special law. So the Emscher has an own law that cuts this environmental law since 1953 out. So this is the sign at the end, at these dikes. Don't go in. It is dangerous. And it is untreated. It is dirty. You're looking into toilet water. Yeah? Stinky toilet water, stinky industrial water, stinky coal mine water, etc. It's untreated. And all the little rivers, yeah, this is the main river, Emscher, and this is the incoming small rivers, and they all are doing the same. On the outside of these dikes, they have barbed wire. Several hundred kilometers wastewater canal and barbed wire, which means people should not access to the river's benches. Yeah, if you pronounce that, you understand, to call it Emscher Landscape Park was a great provocation. So we have to redo this. We have to change from Cloaca Maxima back to a livable river. That's the task. And because there's no coal mining, there's no economic reason anymore. So we have to redo all the little rivers, and at the end we also have to do the main river. And what we're doing is we're digging now new tubes as big as a metro tube for the wastewater or the nutrient, and we create new river surfaces on the top. The investment, I've shown this at the beginning, is 4.3 billion euro. You do not do it at once, you do it in several slices. And therefore we have not only a master plan for the actions, for the banks of the rivers, which is the Emscher Landscape Park, but we also have a master plan for the water regime, for the water things. that decides how it goes. And these are the first small rivers where under the road there is the tube, and again rainwater, natural water fills in and fits new rivers, and after a while it looks like that. Emscher is something that lasts on. It takes us another 10 years to be ready. So Emscher Kunst, art with Emscher, was also part of the capital of culture. It was now modern times, so we have these different information systems. And I show you one of these projects. It's called Between the Waters, and it was a very, very dramatic and senseful thing to declare what's going on. You see a steel construction, and you see two yellow boxes. These are two toilets, real toilets, water, toilets, ceramics, everything what you need. You can left or right what you prefer. It is hanging over the river Emscher, to demonstrate what's going on. And you see these dike, and you see some tubes. So you could see how the water goes into a bassin to sink, that the materials who are heavy are sinking. The water which overflowing that continues, and it goes in a bassin with stones, marbles, and with some plants who are able to separate substances. Then it was going through these rubber things, so you can have just fun using water. And then it was going through this garden, where the final things were filtered, were converted by nature. And at the end, it was flowing out of the system. And if you liked, you could test it. You could drink it. If you didn't like, you don't have to. But this little project, you see now how it works, was very, very clear to understand what we have to do with cleaning water and finding solutions. I show a different project in the sense of conversion. This is the coal mine Nordstern. I was looking in the 1950s. This is the picture from 98, and the next is from 2001, 3 years later. The same site in the building. A private company has taken over the old ruin and has made a decision that they want to use it as a business building for desktops. Not production, not handcraft. It's a housing company, it's management of housing and buildings. And they decided they want to have light to the desk, very, very banal. They decided to use the station where the coal was falling in former as an entrance hall. You see the existing pillars. And they decided to skeleton the building so that light comes from the top. And they decided to use only glass to divide the working group, so that as many light could go through. And they integrated an artist who painted pure color just on the glass. So it's very clear if we said, let's meet in the yellow meeting room, you will find that. Or let's meet in the blue, or etc. That's the director's board, the meeting room for the managers. And I can tell you these managers are very proud to work in a former coal mine. Yeah? So it's a complete turnaround, even in the understanding of the private businessman, that this has something to do with them. They didn't only create a great meeting room for directors, they also created a good courtyard, a cafeteria, and public space for the people. Again, this is a story that we have much more site to use for different purpose. You see the old building before it was repaired. This is a complete new private investment. This is a conversion of an old building into a business company, incubator, starter, supporter. And again, we have so much place because coal mines had these large areas which are no more necessary today. That's the same site. And as you can see, we create an amphitheater on this coal mine site at the Rhine-Herne Canal. If you would have said 10 years ago, let's go tango dancing on Friday on Rhine-Herne Canal, everybody would have said you're crazy, yeah? You're not clear in your head. Because Rhein-Herne-Canal was really ugly, this was really awful, yeah? They were stinky, oh no, Rhein-Herne-Canal. But it's no more stinky, it's a wonderful place, and we have not only tango dancing every Friday, we have rock concerts and everything like that, and if we have things like that, the whole park is filled because they're coming with their tents. We're creating these sites with a fine garden architecture, which is a reference to what has been before. This is the station of the Kokori before, where the trains of the Kokori on this site has been, and you can see bridges. We are creating new bridges to cross these infrastructures. They were not planned to be crossed, and we want to combine urban landscape for the people, and I can tell you, the people immediately notice what they get for an offer. They use these things directly. Using means it can be used for different purposes, not only as an entrance hall, but for example as a conference hall. So experts are coming now, and this is a group from China, and it's a group from Chinese cities in the north of China where they produce coal. And several of these cities are again at the edge of their production. They have taken all the coal out, and these are small cities, 8 million, 9 million, with a mono-structure, mono-economy based on coal resource. So they are very, very interested to understand in all details how could a change be managed. Another example, Bochum, this is steel work, this is steel site, and you can see how this rectangle site was located close to the city center. That was the city, the ring is the city center, it's still the city center. And this is the first great steelwork founded in 1830, and Bochum West. And this part is still in production. There's still some high-speed train wheels are produced here, but this part is completely out of use. And as you can see, we have created a designed public park, and we have changed the building in the center to be a festival hall. Festival hall for fine arts. And this was not all the time the way. It's called the Hall of the Century. It is from 1902. It is really an old hall, and you can see how it was used as a gas turbine hall during the production. And that was the way how we got it in the 90s. It was empty, and it has already been empty for 30 years. But it has a wonderful transparency. So we thought, oh, it looks wonderful. And in 2000, it was not lovely, it was more lovely from the inside than from the outside, as you can see. And in 2000, we made several concerts called Music in the Industrial Space, in the Industrieraum. And the result was that everybody said, it looks so lovely, but it sounds awful. It's cold, it is echoes, it's but it looks lovely. And everybody held this. So decision makers felt that, politicians felt that, normal visitors felt that. So there was made the decision to have a competition, an architect's competition. How can we change this building to a festival hall? What could be done? And the architect who won this competition said, I will put all of the necessary things that you need for a comfortable festival in front of the building. And I will not touch the 4 halls in the inside. So the decision was made, and you can see how the infrastructure was put in front of the building. Here you can see it from the top when it was ready. And a modern glass architecture is standing in front of the building. And inside are the garderobe, the toilets, the bar, the cafeteria, the cache, the information sinks, etc. And it's run, and it's very practically accepted by the people. If it's dark, you can see that this glass solution is very good because you still see the old building. The new building is transparent and let it go. And if you're in, you're very clear, you see the old building with respect. This is the bar in the first floor. In the inside, they made a genius job in saying we do not change the atmosphere. It's a brand new floor. it's a heated floor, so no question of cold. And all the echoes that could be done with conservative materials are done to absorb echoes. The rest is done by computers. If you look carefully through this, so you will see always speakers, small speakers, little loudspeaker. And it's a technology where you can cut the echo. The human ear doesn't hear this. You hear only the original voice from the violin or from the singer, but the echo is cut with not hearable waves, tone waves. And therefore, there are all these little speakers who cut the decentral the echoes. So we really have the atmosphere, the acoustics of a philharmonic or of an opera house. And the architect said, let's use the crane trains who have been necessary to pull up or set up the machines. Let's drive curtains. And so you can have different dimensions, small halls, great halls, the whole hall, etc. You can have small theaters in that, or you can have over 1,000 seats on the tribune if you take the hall. And we have wonderful productions over there. This is, for example, the opera The Soldiers, and here they used the whole length of the hall, and these people are sitting on a rolling tribune. So we're rolling through the hall, and then it was intimacy, it was small, and the tribune was going back, and they could see the field of the battlefield of the soldiers. Others create special things that you would never do in a normal theater. So the idea is that the art directors cooperate with the working with the building, create unique productions. It's called Ruhr Triennale because every 3 years, for 3 years, we have one art director, one intendant. One man or woman is responsible for 3 years about what is to be shown, what could be the selection of artists, etc. And Heiner Goebbels is the one for 2012, 2013 and 2014. And I just bring you the data from this year. It lasted from mid-August to end of September. We had 900 artists. We have more than 30 productions. We have 20 starting productions we have never shown on other sites. We had 50,000 visitors, and we have sold out 85% of the tickets. So it just tells you it's a high-end festival that really works. And not only during the festival, if you go there outside of the festival times, it's as well an impressive sight. Landmarks. Landmarks are those things who we put and who made and who attract people. The most attractive thing is the landscape park Duisburg North. It's a blast furnace where steel has been melted, ore has been melted, and is changed to be a public park. Green is going into the machines. It is a German architect, Peter Latz from Munich, who made that. And showing you the international quality, it's Jonathan Park from London who made this light. As you can see, it's multicolori. When I was with a French experts group, they said, oh, it's British kitsch, which has something to do between Britain and French. But it's not only multicolori, it's a computer that drives the light and changes very, very, very slow from multicolori to monochrome white. In the summer, you have couples sitting up there with wine and covers, etc., and they stay there for hours because they follow how the lights are changing to white, like the moon is changing. And after some hours, it's getting multicolori again. So you can even create romantic things on these things. The tetrahedron is a triangle construction, each side 60 meters. It's called Emscher View, and it's on one of our coal hills. And the only sense is that you climb up there and look to your neighborhood, and that you're proud to have things like this. Meanwhile, we were constructing it. The people were writing bad letters to the newspapers. What is stupidity? A triangle, 60 meters, for what purpose? For nothing. Huh? Since it's there, it is the tetrahedron. We have, nobody has a tetrahedron. We have the only tetrahedron. The churches are showing services up there. Every old aunt who visits is pushed, pulled to the top. You have to climb up. You must be there, uncle, aunt, etc. So people love this. There is a school, a grammar school on the foot on the hill, and the kids divide the rooms. There are bad rooms and good rooms. Bad rooms are without a view to the tetrahedron. Good rooms are those with a view to the tetrahedron. At night, it's a light sculpture. This is another example where we assembled rest of concrete from demolished buildings, assembled them and made a stairs to heaven on one of the other slopes. This is the Horizont Astronomy. This is a sculpture where you can follow the stars at night. You can see how the star pictures are changing. This is the gasometer. It's a gas holder, an empty gas holder beside a steelwork, and it is more than 100 meters high. And we decided not to pull it down, as we have done with all the others before. This is a system. It's a cylinder, and there is a disc. Underneath the disc is the gas. The disc is very heavy with loads of stone and concrete, so it compresses the gas. So gas was compressed in, and you couldn't see from the outside if it's full or empty, because this disc was going up and down in the cylinder. So we fixed this disc on 5 meters, so we have a room under the disc as an exhibition room. And there are several exhibitions shown under the disc. Much more important is the room on top. This is a view of 100-meter indoor perspective. Yeah? You're looking 100 meters to the top. This is an elevator that drives you to the roof, because you can walk out on the top and have it as a view to the landscape. And to create an indoor room of 100 meters high gives you an atmosphere. If you've once been in there, you say, I've never seen that before. And you won't see it again, because it's still the only. That's the last thing that we put on a hill. Very crazy, very typical for the time. I can tell you that, where is it? Here is a gate, and there is a gate. You are not able to run as quick. That you will not fall down. Yeah? But all the other things, you can go up these stairs. It's again just for fun, and people are running there and making their walks to see that. There are several others, and I will summarize this in this way. I mentioned the park infrastructure. Park infrastructure to make it accessible, make it combine these single investments, these single injections, and we are using the old tracks of the old trains. Every coal mine has an old railroad, an old railroad system, every steelwork. So we changed this, and we changed this for the Emscher Park Bikeway. We changed this now to a 750-kilometer bike system, and as you can see, we have already a new dream, which is the bicycle speedway, where we will follow the Dutch idea really of a new highway for bicycles. But this is a little bit dream a moment. So that's the way how we started, with the bikeway of a circle of 230 kilometers, and that's the potential. These empty old dams where the trains were driving before, all of them have been completely with bushes. Yeah? They've been roses, they've been trees, they were forgotten. Nobody used them. You couldn't use them. They are on dams, they are not in the city. You cannot build on these, so they were green, somethings, wilderness, that's it. We'll take them now all. Every kilometer we get, and we change in that way. And this means cross-free. Because in this construct, the industry used bridges to cross streets. Now we cross streets with bikes and pedestrians, so you can let your children drive with a bike without danger, because it's cross-free driving in the center of this area. What we had to do is to create new access, because these freight trains were not accessible. It was the idea to put it on dams that is a way. So if we want to get people on that, we have to make it accessible. And wherever a bridge is missing, we're replacing it. Wherever a bridge is missing, we're creating a new bridge, And we're very dogmatic, always with a competition, always looking for the best solution and only creating best design. We are dogmatic because most of the people understand that this is a new quality of urban landscape, that best design is introduced. And as you can see, we have not done this only once, we have done this now in several parts and in several options, and with several different architects, with several different handwrites. And you could see the Ruhrgebiet today as a collection or an exhibition of brand new pedestrian and bikeways. Sometimes the jury wants some sculptural things. Yeah? This is not necessary to construct the building. All the others you could see before was very engineering. This is more a sculptural way. Some are just on sticks and going through birches, and others are crossing just in the city, old city streets, to connect again the old railroad. This was a site where a railroad has been, but where the railroad bridge disappeared, and a new pedestrian bridge now is just built up. We put infrastructure in these things, and bikers of all kinds are using this. Whenever we find an old bridge, we keep it. Yeah? We restore it, we paint it, and they are so strong, so thick, they last forever. And bridges like that do not even notice if a biker or 100 bikers drive on top of that. They were used for steel. And sometimes our former engineers have left wonderful pieces. These have been complete behind trees and bushes. Nobody even knew that's there. But when we took the trees out, we discovered this. This is now a bikeway on top of that. So, you're looking tired, so I think I'll come more and more to the end. Is that correct? Yes. So maybe I stop with that. That's Slinky Springs is the last bridge that we have constructed. You know this Slinky Springs, this thing? In this case, it was a bridge competition, and an artist, Tobias Rehberger, he is not a bridge constructor, he's not an engineer. He said, I go in this competition, I would like to have a Slinky Springs over the canal. And the jury said, yeah, we would like to have that too. But do you have any idea how to make this? And he said, no, but it would be so nice. And the jury said, okay, you get time, find a bridge builder who will make it. And he found Professor Schleich, who has been doing one of our other bridges as well. He's a genius engineer, and he did so. So this is really a construction. It was opened in 2011. And you must know, in Germany, if you create a new pedestrian bridge, it must fit to wheelchairs, to handicapped people. So it has to have a very, very, very low graduation, so that it's easy to roll up. If you cross a ship canal with a new bridge, you have to go up 9 meters. So the container ships could go through. If there are container ships or not is not relevant. New pedestrian bridge over canals must be 9 meters. So we had a lot walk. Yeah? So you see that this bridge starts at the edge to get up to 9 meters for wheelchair people. And with these slinky springs, it works quite well. And so this is standing on pillars, and then it is hanging over the Rhine-Herne Canal, and you're going through. You can see already that it's colored, and this is a concrete, and this concrete is colored through, so it's a full color, and you can see how the options to the canals from the top. That's how it looks at the night, and this tells you that we have white light in each of these rings, but because the surface is the same as the undersurface, it reflects in that way. I think I am at the end. Thank you for your attention.
Maybe some questions.
Yeah, please. You want to go there? You're welcome. If you have no question and another 5 minutes, I have a dessert.
Oh.
Do you want to have a dessert?
Of course.
But the dessert is coming. I show you the still. You still, you know, there's a painting with the flowers. Stillleben. It was called Stillleben A40. A40 is the highway, and it was the most visited project in the capital of culture. It was the idea to create the longest coffee table in the world. It was the idea to blockade one of our east-west highways in the length of 40 kilometers for one Saturday to sit down and have coffee and cake. Yeah? We talked 2 years with the Federal Minister of Traffic. And he said, no, 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 never, no, no, no. Cars, 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 no people. And if one will start with this, the others will come after. No, it's not possible. But at the end, we were successful. We convinced them only in the capital of culture, only once, never again, we promise. So the technique was, okay, we call this a beer set. Yeah? A table and 2 benches in one set. As you can see, it is printed, and it's already printed. It's the longest coffee table in the world. And you could order this. And you could order this by computer. I'm living here, kilometer 16, yeah? And I order one table for me, for my family, for my company, for my club, for my theater, etc. So it was done. The road was blocked. We had wonderful weather in the morning, and it was empty. Where normally it's jam, traffic jam, it was empty. This is in the morning, 6:30. And you see that the tables are equipped there. It's professionally equipped as a great logistic. 40-kilometer table is a transport thing. It was blockade from night 3 o'clock to night 3 o'clock. 24 hours it was blockade. The invitation was from 11 to 5. Come to the coffee table from 11 to 5, but preparations started at the night at 3 and must be ready to 11. So what you can see is table and supply for the people. We had no alcohol bars. We had soft drinks, we had fruits, we had cakes, yeah? Good things. And you see table number 33, kilometer 60. Yeah? And if you had ordered, you knew then I go to table 6, and it's between these 2 entrances, etc. And it was one supplier who brought this whole thing, which worked also very good. And well, they put all these things, and that's the concept. One part of the highway for sitting, eating, and showing, because the order was bring something cultural with you. Show something cultural of your sports club, of your cultural club, whatever, but produce something culturally. Or if the cake is the best culture, then bring the best cake. The other side was for speed, because they had an idea it could be very crowded on the right side. So they said other people want to see more, so they can come with bicycles, and with inliners. So preparations were done, everything was ready, even these toilets were there. These are already bored because the people are not there, they're ready. These interim things were installed, so the thing could go on. The staff were training, for example, what to do with people who are too hot, etc. The security, the police, the media, everything was there, so it was ready. And at 11, these people stopped to block, yeah, to say, okay, you can go now on the road. People were coming. They were queuing wherever there was a staircase, and temporarily a staircase for one day, because cars have a greater distance to enter a highway than people. Yeah? So we had to make interim access. And they queued, they were very careful, and others came with bikes, and they came with inliners, and they walked to this event. and they came with all generations, and they came, and they came, and we had traffic jam. See this, that this is the first kilometer, and here was just the governor who has just opened it. Yeah? She is a lady, she has just given the speech, and I opened this wonderful Love Tunnel, and you could see that there was already so many people that they had a traffic jam, and it stayed that way. It came more and more. Everybody wanted to be on that, and this is the road, an entrance to the highway. You can see that they're queuing, and whereby, so they were not very quick. This is the car of the governor. She was driving to the stage to give the speech and was thinking to enter her car again. And as you can see, the police and all the other officers are without any power. So many lovely people, and they are so nice. So the result was she was walking across the traffic, across the others, because she wanted to visit several parts of these 60 kilometers and couldn't do this by feet. That's the boss of the chancellery, of the office of her, and he had to wait 2 hours until he could go. It was announced on the traffic things, yeah, it's blocked, and we could see, and you could see by a way it was going out, and people were standing on the bridges. They wanted to see that. Schenker has done the equipment and the traffics, and by the way, things moved. Yeah? So the walking part was going, and the others was driving, getting more distance. And by the way, we could see every kind of behavior. Yeah, mother with kids. Different fathers with kids, young boys with this protection on their head, girls with protection on their head, very strong, coming men, a little younger, but also the other ones who showed up, or the whole group of men driving sporty cars and show up. So it was very, very funny to see how all these citizens, all these people are driving bicycles, and all kind of ages, and wanted to be there or are going in. We could see that bikes are quite an interesting thing for highways. We could see that highways' edges are some landscape. We had these breaks, and we had these romantic moments between bikes, and we had Greenpeace. It was a public event, so they told us that with oil something is combined. And we had accidents where repair had to be done. We had wrong parking, where people just left and fixed their cars, no, their bikes. We had these very relaxed young men. We had those who used the cultural event to show up in their costumes in every way. We had the Lions clubs. You know what they're doing. They offer wine or good drinks, or they good coffee and good cakes. So the ladies offered wonderful cakes from Lions Club. Others were just looking for themselves. The proletariat, the brass band, was going in, showing what a brass band can do. And while the critical young people said, oh, what are the adults crazy today? So they stayed at the way and were looking with distance. You could get a massage as a cultural quality, which people really liked and used there. And you could see that others have a cultural on table. This is a Dutch supplier of vegetables. Yeah? Tischkultur between neighbors, culture of tables between neighbors, and the Germans were very, very fascinated. And you could hear all kind of music. Perhaps you already see these are Americans, yeah? This is a club of Germans who love the Americans so much that they make American costumes and American dancing. So they danced, and the others were standing and were showing all his square dance. And I can tell you, he was there as well. And he had a great show, and he was singing. So you know him already. So thank you very much again for this dessert. That's it. I have no other dessert.
First of all, I would like to thank you for this very interesting lecture. And I have a question. You said that we can't force somebody to love each other.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
How can we promote this volunteer cooperation between citizens, between administrations?
By work. Not by miracle, not by jokes, not by tricks. Which means that if you have an idea why cooperation is better, is that you have to describe the benefit. That you have to not to give wrong promises, then no trust comes, and then to test. I mentioned trust, and trust means an experience that it works. Voluntary means that you must have some incentives that you can describe how long it will take, that you can describe how much money we will need to come to this result, etc. And some risky moments to say, let's start it, let's try it. IBA Emscher Park, 100 projects, yeah, I just repeated, which means so many single experiments that people said, okay, that's a way to go. If it's the standard story of the best, so-called best practice story. If it's once have done and gone good here, it may be good here too. In detail, this was 6 years. If you remember these charts, this was from 2001 to 2006. This is an investment from 1.1 million euro. The government, I mentioned the governor, jobs. Huh? He said, okay, you can make it, but you don't get money. Which means he had not said no. If it's forbidden, you can't do anything. If somebody says, you can make it, but I don't give you money, you can make it. For government, there's a great difference. Huh? I guess you know that's in Russia something familiar. It took me 1 year to collect the money. And I got the money from the European community. I made a draft, and several people helped me, and to say we need a new software to continue what has been done with the IBA. And the EU said, that sounds, well, we'll give you 1.1 million euro. So I had 1.1 million euro to contract good planners, good advisors, etc. I mentioned more than 100 meetings in the cities, means with a draft, the results, what the experts have told me, I was only the moderator. So I assembled chapter by chapter what the experts have told me, the expert for climate, the expert for flowers, the expert for roads, the expert, etc. I just describe again work, which means the cities could follow step by step what we were advising them. And they kept the decision. I couldn't do this, nothing by my own. I could only do it because these 19 or 20 cities then said, okay, we'll take our own power, our own competition to say we want it. So it's a process. Again, it's work. Planning work, managing work, political agreement work, flexibility, very often flexibility. You must go two steps back and come back.
But it means that you created a special, I don't know, institutional body to manage it.
No.
Yeah? No?
No.
So it was just like a
No, the IBA was an agency of 30 people. The IBA was an agency with Karl Ganser as a director and collecting these 17 cities. During the time from 2000 to 2006 there was nobody. And I was an employee in a state agency. I belonged to the body of the state and was set free in the sense, manage this. And I could only do what I could convince on government side and what I could convince on the local side. When this work was successful, because the cities have assembled and said yes, and all these departments of government, then it was this master plan was laid down for a law. And the government changed a law about one existing body, so the Regionalverband Ruhr, where I'm coming now from, I changed the office and I went down from the state level now to the Regionalverband Ruhr. the law of the Regionalverband got a new paragraph, and there's now to manage and to run the Emscher Landscape Park is a Pflichtaufgabe. What is?
Обязательная задача.
They have to maintain, they have to run the park now. So this body is a body of 53 cities, paid by tax money, and they have to maintain now the park. They didn't like it, because they are forced now by law to maintain for that, and it took some time until they said, okay, it's a lovely job that we've done. So we created bodies when they were necessary. We did not create bodies at first to solve a problem. We solved the problem and then we created a body. And maybe this is a good direction. Otherwise you create jobs for the body and not for the solving problems. These materials are free and you can have them. I don't know if there's any didactic sense to keep them in one group or who's quicker than the other fetches. I don't have to, and I don't want to carry them home again, so they're just for you.
I think it would be better to collect it in our faculty
Yeah,
room,
please.
just to common use.
Yeah. Please. I think it's only two are double, all the others are a single copy. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.